Pistol Whip.
And I am Hatter of the Waste.
This is Wasteland Talk.
We like to discuss everything post-apocalypse and everything about Wasteland.
While drinking, sharing tips to the newcomers. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
What happened? We did this ourselves.
They're coming. It can't be.
Where is everyone?
Hey survivors, Makeshift back with another edition of our most popular series, and it could be our only series so far, called Wastelander Stories, where myself and 3 fellow survivors regale you with tales from the wastes. This episode is gonna be special because all my guests tonight are proprietors of Wasteland City's saloons, bomb-dropping bars, and pestilence-filled pubs, and they're here to tell you stories that start like this. So, this Wastelander walks into a bar. And I realized just now I probably should have written a joke to finish that. But let's move on. So, we've got stories coming at you that'll make you remember the before times, and the drinks we're serving tonight are guaranteed to be hangover free. My first guest this episode is co-leader of Schofield's Drifters, acquirer and dealer of arcane tech, and occasional protection and retrieval services for hire. He is Doc Schofield. Hi, Doc.
Hey there, how you doing, Makeshift?
Not too bad. Now, the Drifters have a bar run by a guy named Sutler.
Right.
And you've got a wheel that helps patrons decide on a drink. Can you tell me where that idea came from?
So this was Sutler's idea. I have to give full credit to him. And his idea is that he travels the waste all year long, visiting nomads, crazy people out in the middle of the desert, and trying to get whatever elixirs he can find. He has no idea what they are. And all he knows is how they describe them. They will describe them in terms of emotions. They'll say, whatever this is, this tastes like love. This tastes like passion. This tastes like anger. So he scours the wastes to find all these, brings them back, and then offers them at our bar. And the way that he does that is we have a sign put up there. It has 12 emotions. People are allowed to order any combination they want. And so you can order things like joyful regret or psychedelic bravery. Again, he has all these 12 combinations. Nobody knows what these are. All right. Sutler actually does know what they are because he wants to make sure that they're safe and drinkable. But he's the only one. The rest of us, all we know are the emotions. And his conceit is that he's found these elixirs throughout the waste, and he procures them for the bar. So that is what Cariosa Memoria, the name of the bar, is. Cariosa Memoria means corrupted memories. So we think that's appropriate for what you're drinking. All right. So we have corrupted memories at the bar.
That's so great. I remember going to the bar. I remember trying the bravery mixed with something. Because it was Friday night and I needed a little boost, and it was actually great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of them are incredibly tasty. The one that really gets everybody is the fact that regret, it really does taste like regret. It also happens to be one of the most popular ones that everybody likes to order, so that kind of tells you something about a Wastelander.
Fantastic. All right, so my next guest runs, I think, what might be Wasteland's only actual speakeasy. He's the co-founder of the Ghoulcrest Hunting Club, eternal barman, and collector of hunting stories. He's known as Captain T. Stranded. How's it going, Captain?
Oh my God. Hi, guys. You know, staying fluid.
And you guys are also keepers of very fancy ties. Can you tell me what that's all about?
Ooh, that goes all the way back to how we brought Ghoulcrest to Wasteland. Because that was a battle in itself. Because, as everybody knows, you're not allowed to have a bar at Wasteland.
Right.
Do you want a quick synopsis, or do you want the juicy deets on this one?
Oh, the quick one. Give me the quick one for now.
Okay, quick synopsis. Quick synopsis is you couldn't bring a bar, but you could share alcohol amongst your people who you came with. So, if you want to share alcohol with others, you make them part of your group or tribe, as what they're called at Wasteland. So the ties, once somebody earned their tie, they were then allowed to join the Ghoulcrest, and therefore were allowed to partake in libations. And that's how we started what became known as the Ghoulcrest method. So that's the purpose of the ties. So we don't go to jail.
We do the exact same thing. We have a token that we give to our friends and associates to accomplish the exact same end, so that we are only serving alcohol to our friends, the people that we know. So yeah, we have tokens that we hand out to people to make sure that it's all legit.
That's great. And so where do you just want to acquire so many ties? Were you like hitting up every single thrift store in town?
Every thrift store. I mean, people brought us boxes of ties that they collected because we gutted all of our local thrift stores. God, I think we've given out close to 300 to 400 ties at this point. So
Easily.
it became difficult. But now we have too many. Now we have piles of ties. So now it's just like I got to find time to put the stencil on them.
And finally, my last guest is my very own Wasteland City neighbor. She's the co-tribe lead of the Dauntless Express, Sand Island of Misfit Toys. She's the mistress of Snark, defender of the community pickle jar. She is the lady of Dauntless Express. Hi, lady.
Good evening, gentlemen.
And welcome to the show.
Hi, neighbor.
You volunteered back several years ago to take on the event board wall. Can you give everyone a little warning about volunteering too much?
Yeah, so, well, we started with the tribe events and the tribe mission wall, and I think we started that back in 2014, I want to say. And then Adam and Jared's like, what would really look good over there is the official events too. And we're like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's add 20 more feet. So then the little wall became a medium-sized wall, and then the medium-sized wall became a really big wall. So it's a whole thing. We have the unofficial stuff and mayhem and adventures on our wall of fun, and then we have the official events, also good times, and then we kept going. And and Adam said, what would really be cool is a post-apocalyptic Western saloon. And Cowboys said, that's a great idea. And now we have 80 feet of Main Street.
That's amazing. Well, the service that you guys provide for Wasteland City is absolutely incredible. I know I just watch all day as people funnel their way over to the wall. Not only do they get a full rundown of today's events, they also have all the tribe missions. And you guys hand paint a map every year. Is that true?
So I have to give a shout out to Skunk from the F-Bombs, formerly of the White Crows. So Eric, artist extraordinaire, stepped up. Gosh, he's probably been doing this 4 or 5 years for us now. And somehow we cobbled together giant pieces of canvas, version canvas for him every year. And he waits until Adam and Jared post the official layout. And then he puts all the Wasteland City tribes on there. He'll put hand paint the logo. Same thing with, the den and everybody out there. He puts in an amazing amount of work. So we love you, Eric. Thank you.
And those maps are beautiful.
And he does ads for bribes. So there's all that space around the edge of the map.
Uh-huh.
So people bring him bribes and grease his palms. And he's like, come to Coolcrest, dance on the bar. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, guys, now that we've introduced everybody, welcome to the show. And thank you so much for playing along tonight.
Yay.
Very excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's start out. Everyone dreams about taking the house down. But I think Doc's going to tell you a story that proves that the house does truly always win. Have at it, Doc.
Well, it does help. This story actually did not take place at Wasteland. It took place at another event put on by a bunch of Wastelanders up in Northern California that give a shout out to Karen Hunsucker and Sabotage Garage. They're a wonderful place, and it's a wonderful event. So we set the bar up there. And Sutler wasn't able to make it, so Digits is the other co-founder of Schofield's Drifter, and I were running the bar. And we had everything all set up there. We're running the bar. Everything's going great. And she pulls out a deck of homemade cards and starts going over the rules for playing Texas Hold'em. And so we're playing a little bit Texas Hold'em, just kind of messing around. And to be honest, neither one of us remembered the rules too well, but we decided to play it off. And so we're kind of struggling through that stuff there. And up walks a gentleman by the wasteland name of Toolbox, who is one of the brewers from out in the theme zone, who was coming to the event. And he comes up and he sees us up there and he says, all right, I'll play some Texas Hold'em with you. And I had the most impossible run of good luck that I've ever had playing cards. So this whole time I'm going through, and we're struggling around trying to remember when do you burn the cards? How do you go through what's the big line, the little line, all the different rules of Texas Hold'em. Getting through it, but kind of muddling. He comes up there, we do that, and so all right, fine, we go there. So I shuffle and I start dealing, and I take all of his caps. Now again, caps are the negotiable currency at Wasteland. So I take all the LCC caps with the last chance saloon caps, which are used for gambling in the last chance saloon and doing purchasing of auction items at the end of Wasteland. So these are really valuable. I clean them out of those. We keep going on.
LCC.
We keep going on. And so then he starts throwing down his own personal possessions. End of the story on this case is we play about 6 hands. I clean him completely out. He's down to his last thing. I think his last thing was a pocket knife. And we play this last hand. And he thinks he's sure to win. And I smoke him. And he's completely devastated. His friend, 4-string, comes up to try to offer more stuff. I took several items out of 4-string. 4-string bails out. He can see this is a losing proposition. We ended up playing about 8 hands, and I took every last cap possession this guy had. And he was convinced that I had completely conned him, that I was a card shark. And of course I played it up because you're the owner of a bar. What do? You don't admit that you don't know what you're doing. So played him up on that. Cleaned him completely out. Ended up giving him back everything except for the LCC caps. Those are valuable. I kept those, but I did give him back everything else that he had. And he went away again, absolutely convinced up until he sees this video that I was a card shark and had completely cleaned him out.
That's fantastic. There's a lot of table games that get played at Wasteland. I think it's so cool. I know that the Baron likes to challenge people to Mancala.
Yeah, he's a big Mancala guy.
I know that there's a bunch of people that play, what's the card game from Fallout? Who remembers?
Caravan.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people play Caravan. That's a very complicated game. I couldn't even get it in Fallout.
It took about 4 or 5 playthroughs for to get the hang of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What other games have you guys seen played out there?
Of course, Liar's Dice.
We play a lot of giant Jenga and then flaming giant Jenga.
I know they're playing Russian roulette upstairs.
Right now?
Right?
That reminded me of the Juggers tried to create a gold currency, I think in 2019. And the Juggers and the Dukes of the Nuke are not on good terms right now.
Oh no!
We got left high and dry in some kind of a battle along the way. I forget all the details. War Chief Grimm is actually he actually just told it a couple weeks ago on the podcast. But I determined to possess all of the Jugger gold I could find, and so I took as much as I could from them because they were kind of giving it away freely. And then any chance I got, I was bartering for gold. So I bought out the bank. I bought out other tribes. I won somewhere, and I just handed it all to the war chief and said, "Here, you are now the richest Jugger."
Nice.
So you know that Chief Elliott is he's doing a trade where he's bringing silver this year, and he'll actually trade your gold for 1 gold for 10 silver. So he's actually bringing some new currency.
Oh, nice! That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really hard to create a currency at Wasteland because the caps are so prominent, right?
Mm.
And most of them are kind of created as jokes, like the Baron Bucks or the Coyote Canyon dollars. He came in and automatically started with them being worth almost nothing. The bills were already printed at like 100,000 Coyote Canyon dollars, right?
Right.
Which was kind of funny. It was, he knew that they weren't going to be worth anything, so that's what he made them.
But the LCC will accept them for gambling, and so they actually do have some value now. It really is fascinating how that's coming about. There's also a Bank of the West out in the theme zone that posts exchange rates, and they'll exchange currency for you.
Oh, really? Fancy.
Nice. I remember the bank being a guy that walked around on stilts. I haven't seen a physical bank yet.
Yeah, they did have one last year. Yeah, and he had the exchange rates posted in front of the camp.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I remember Baron was really pissed off that his value was really low.
I mean, he kind of did it to himself, though.
Aw, we love you, Baron.
Speaking of money and dollars, in the wastes, bartering is the capitalism of choice. And the captain is going to tell you a story that puts the bar in barter. Have at it, Captain.
Oh my God. So this one takes place, I think, actually the most recent one, actually. So it was 2019 Wasteland weekend. And I'm not certain if there's a gentleman, I believe he's part of the casino, called Wasteland Hef. And a dapper little fellow that he is. But he walks around in a velvet coat. And actually, he's done some work for us in the past. I think he printed up some of the badges for the 77, some other items. And I've known the guy for a long time. I didn't know that he didn't have his tie. I assumed that he had gotten it like years ago, because in the blur of running Ghoulcrest, you don't know. Everybody's like, "Oh, don't you remember my story?" No. I don't remember your story. I was serving 5 other people at the same time. Sorry, but you play the whole like, "Oh, of course, no, it's fantastic." Yeah, it was about that thing, right? And then you wait for them to bait you so that you can continue with the conversation.
That was the best story ever.
Oh my God, I'm just so happy that you told me that story that you're talking about. Anyway. So I didn't realize that Hef didn't have a tie. So last night of Wasteland 2019, which is by the way, it's so Saturday night, party night. That thing goes full tilt. I mean, we open about dusk and go to about dawn. So I think this thing took place probably around 2 or 3 in the morning. And we're going full tilt, about 250 people in the place.
Oh.
And I took a break from the bar. I had Moth Eater actually substitute bartending for me because I needed to get out. So I go upstairs and I'm leaning against the handrail upstairs in the upstairs lounge. And I'm looking over the front because you can look down into the entrance of where people are coming. And I'm just watching from there. And I look over and Hef is standing right next to me. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Long time to see. How you been?" And chit-chatting away. And a girl comes up to the door, our big vault door out front. And naturally, Corporal Punishment, greets her at the door like that, and she's like, "Okay, well, show me your tie, because you have to have your tie to get into, the Ghoulcrest." And she's like, "Oh, I don't have my tie," like that. She's like, "Well, what do you mean you don't have your tie?" "Well, I traded it." And she's like, "You did
No. No.
So Corporal's like, "Let me get the book real quick." So I see the door slam. We're upstairs looking down over the top of this thing, watching from above. And I'm just watching that. And Corporal runs back, runs out. She has the book with all the names in it because we have a log of all the people who've ever, gotten their tie. They've signed the book. So she's like, "What's your name?" And she's thumbing through it, real quick like that, going through the whole thing. And finds her name like that and rips the page out. Tears it, crumbles it up, and throws it away in front of her like that. And she's like, "Nobody trades a Ghoulcrest tie." And with that, Hef right next to me leans into me like that. And he's like, "You mean this tie?" And I'm like, "No way.
No way.
I'm like, dude, how? He was guest bartending at the Rad Stag, and they had their barter night where you trade for a drink. So naturally, somebody comes in there. Caps are the currency of Wasteland, in case you didn't know. So people make their own caps, which are very cool and very nice like that, but they're essentially valueless. Anyway, but people will try to trade their cap. They're just a nice token gesture. "Hey, you met me. Here's a cap," But they'll try to trade their cap for a drink. And Hef was bartending, and so this was barter night. So she tries to trade she comes in. She tries to trade a cap like that, and usually if you trade your cap, you get like the shot of, say, like fire wine or some other garbage. I think Malort they were also serving to people who gave you their personal cap. So word of warning. So he's like, "No, what else have you got?" like that. So she's like, "Well, I have these trinkets and tokens like that." He's like, "Nah." He's like, "What else?" She's like, "Oh, well, I have this tie that I got a couple of years ago." And he's like, "Okay, tie." And he notices that it has the logo on it. And he's like, "You know what? I think that'll do. That'll do." So he just slides the tie back across the bar to himself like that, serves her whatever garbage. puts it on instantly. And as soon as the Radstag closed that night, he decided to saunter over and come right through the doors of Bucharest with his tie on.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
So we're staying up top now, and he tells me this real quick synopsis. Actually, Bill Brown was standing right next to me. This was like going to be his last Wasteland, so he's like savoring. His eyes are like saucers. Those who don't know, Bill Brown is old school Wastelander, so it was kind of a special moment. But his eyes are as big as saucers. He's like, "Oh my God, this is happening!"
He was a former Big C member.
Yeah. So we run downstairs. So Corporal slams the door on this person's face. We run downstairs to like give her the good news, and she's angry, like legitimately angry. Like, I can't believe it. She's like, Captain, you won't believe what this person did. They traded their time, and we're like, Corporal. And like, she's not hearing us at all. She's dead intent on this, like, has to tell us about this terrible wrong that's been done to us. And goes on and on, like, so she traded her tie away, and then she tried to come in, and this is outrageous, and I can't believe. Do you see this piece of paper? I'm going to go burn this in the ashtray right now. This has her name on it. And I'm like, Corporal. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you mean that tie? Her eyes got huge. She's like, how did you get the tie? And so the story was then retold, but that was one of those very special wild moments that happens when acquiring ties out there in the wasteland. So, but definitely one for the books on last year. So the highlight.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And just the things that had to line up for that coincidence to happen.
It was meant to be.
Only at Wasteland does stuff like that happen.
So the question is did you let her in?
No, she was kicked to the dirt, gone. Never seen from again. Went away crying last night, had to go find drinks somewhere else.
All right. Need to have the tie.
It's a sad story.
Here's what I know about the Ghoul Crest. You guys are as strict as it comes when it comes down to entry.
It's true.
I know there's a lot of people that get turned away from your door.
It's true.
And it makes sense because you can only fit so many people, and you're such a popular destination there.
God, it's hard to like. I mean, the first year, I think we had 30 ties, and we gave all those out just kind of barely, just perfect. Like the last night we gave around the rest of them, you know? The Dirty 30 is what they're known of because they were garbage. I threw them together. The painting was not good. It didn't last. Most of the original Dirty 30 ties, you can't even tell that they're Ghoul Crest ties. But after that, the popularity, we couldn't really keep up because we were a two-man crew for first 2 to 3 years. Two-man crew. So, and then we were 3 people, then 4 people. But I mean, we were serving probably close to 150 to 250 to 300 a night. I mean, 2017 was insane. I think we gave away, they earned, I think we got rid of maybe 140, 150 ties in 2017 alone. So, but yeah, I mean, at the time, I mean, we were only 12 feet by like, I think 30 feet. With an upstairs lounge, you know, and a little bit of patio area. It is tiny. I mean, first year was just a carport.
It was little.
It was just a carport. So it was like one of those, second year we had it upstairs because stupidly that was one of those like, oh, we just don't have enough room. And like the guy who does all my printing for all like the posters and the signs and stuff like that was like, you guys should build a second story. I'm like, that's a really smart idea. Why don't we do that? So that's where all that heavy building came from.
Yeah.
Oh, that was also the 16. That was the year of the big blow, that first day. And so that second story saved the whole club. We were the only thing that was open that first night because everything else got blown down and torn down. I think first night we were packed to the gills because like we turned the lights on like it's usual. And I went upstairs and looked out the city and the city was dark. And we're like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be real bad. And we got crushed. But it's just kind of expected now. So we're a little bit more strict because it's, exactly, the W. But after that is when we built hard structure. Yeah. I mean, now I think it's 20 feet by 50 feet. So it's a barn. But it's one of those, like, we built it to stop all.
It's beautiful inside.
Yeah.
The destruction that was happening. So now we can go upstairs and watch tent races, which is fun. But other than that, though, it's just kind of like one of those, it's too popular. So we got to hide ourselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're swamped and it's not fun. When it's not fun, don't do it.
Now, I know in 2018, you guys actually went underground and hid up behind, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but you were hidden behind the Skullduggers.
Yeah.
You had to go through the
Yes, across
Skullduggers
the
VIP
street.
room in order to get there. Now, that was the year that you guys decided, hey, we're gonna actually check out Wasteland City at night, which you had not
Never
done
seen it
prior
till
to
then.
that.
Never seen it.
So in 2021, when you reopen, what's your plan? Are you going to be open the whole time, or are you going to take some nights off?
No. 2021, we're probably not going to bring the structure just due to it being an enclosed space and you have to have your mask off and so forth. It's just that how Ghoulcrest works doesn't work in that kind of an environment. So probably won't be bringing it this year. We will be there because I am definitely not missing it, but I'm definitely not going to probably bring the club until 22. 22 will be back with full force. But yeah, this is one of those years that we get to actually go check out stuff, because 18 was the same way. I mean, for 3 years, I'd never seen the city. So that was an experience for sure.
So, Captain, just remember that the Drifters Bar is outside.
You're singing our song.
Exactly right.
So come by.
Yeah, come hang out at our bar too. We don't have a bar. We have a secret bar. Come hang out at our secret bar.
Perfect. The best bar.
Speaking of which, I forgot to ask you guys earlier, what is everybody drinking tonight?
I am drinking. What am I drinking? I'm drinking this Chardonnay.
It looks like the Nightmare Before Christmas has a wine.
Oh, it's the Phantom Chardonnay.
Very nice. Doc, what about you?
I'm drinking an electric lemonade.
Very nice. Captain, what do you got? What's your libation this evening?
Oh, I'm doing a Captain's Lime right now with gin. So that was with gin.
Of course.
Very
Perfect.
nice. And I'm actually having a tiki drink. I don't know what this is.
Nice.
My lady whipped this up.
Hi, lady.
I said I want a tiki drink tonight because we're going to the bar. And yeah, I think there's some rum in there, some pineapple, some orange juice.
It looks
all sorts of
frothy.
stuff.
It looks
it's mostly just the
frothy.
ice, I think.
I like it. You need an umbrella.
But I know we need to just have a stock of umbrellas in the house.
So, Captain, I have to ask, when are you going to bring back your bar tutorials? Because I absolutely loved those.
Oh my goodness, we were just talking about that. Actually, we were just talking about that. So I'm getting prepped for like that. As you can tell, I'm restocking because I damn near wiped it out doing the weekly Captain's Cocktail Hour. But restocking back up. It's more just you can't do it once a week, man. Like the hangover every Sunday morning, it's just brutal. So had to stem the tide on that one for a little bit, and then as soon as you stop, it's hard to get back into it. But I've been talking about it, so we're definitely. I want to get a cocktail book together, and I want to actually start getting because I got all the recipes right here in front of me, all on paper. So I want to see if I can pick out the good ones, and maybe get back with a highlight special.
Nice.
There you go. Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've noticed even with the Apocalypse Post, if I miss a week, I miss a month. That's how it goes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's really tough. I have to make sure that I'm doing one every week, which is actually why this podcast has been so great, because it's a little bit easier, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's recorded in real time. There's not a whole lot of editing I go through, but yeah, it's really important. If you're going to try to do everything once a week, you cannot miss one, because then, it just
time.
All hell breaks loose.
It's true. Anarchy in the streets. Cats and dogs living together.
Speaking of dogs, Doc, look at your little wasteland pup.
Yep.
Brr.
Yep. This is Malik, which is Turkish for angel, but she's really
Aww.
And for everyone listening, audio only, what breed is she?
She is a coonhound mixed with, we think, with a German Shepherd. We're not really quite sure. She's a bit of a mess, but yeah, she's just a year old. So yeah, she's got a lot of puppy energy. So that's why she occasionally pops into the frame.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to keep this thing going. As you guys know, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the end is commonly called the climax. And here's Lady to tell you about one in particular.
I like the setup there. So the Forlorn Hope Saloon at Wasteland is a place where, beginnings, for sometimes for passionate endings. We've had weddings, we've had memorials, and one of my favorite forlorn saloon.
How much of that wine have you had so far?
Moments. No, I'm fine. It's fine.
And just to clarify, the Forlorn Hope is the Dauntless Express Corps bar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you find the 40-foot event board wall and map, it's right. You're there. So right on Main Street. Yeah. So because Dukes are our neighbors on the one side, and the WCC and Legio are our neighbors on the back side. It's good. Prime real estate. So one evening, as I'm making the rounds from our bar to our saloon, I heard we have DJs usually during the event, and some awesome volunteer wasteland DJs that come in and play music for the Stompy Boot people and make everybody dance. Super good time. Well, the music goes and just stops, and I look over and I can see that this quiet circular crowd has assembled around the dance floor. And I'm like, what is happening? So I tippy-toe over there and push my way through the crowd. And in the middle of this hushed, reverent circle.
Hold on real quick. I'm gonna stop you for just a moment. As you're approaching this circle, what are you thinking? Because I'd imagine, oh shit, someone got hurt, right?
Well, no. I mean, it's Wasteland. So the last time I saw a quiet, hushed circle, it was another dear friend of mine who had his pants down around his knees and was seeing how hard he could swing his balls in a circle. And everybody was like really into it. So it could be anything, right? You're ready for, you're prepared for anything.
All right. So you're squeezing on through.
So I'm squeezing on through, expecting, right? I'm prepared for anything, I thought. And I look down there, and one of my oldest and dearest friends has fallen into wasteland love on our dance floor with another beautiful young woman. And she is declaring her undying wasteland love in a very serious and beautiful oral tradition.
You mean they were making out right there?
There was oral lovin's, oral admiration, oral pleasure. Right? Can we say that on
linguist?
Carnal? Who are you calling carnal linguist? Yes, all of that, extra that. Yes, and the best part, I mean, there was no cat calls, there was nothing. Everybody was just, and at the end, there was like not a dry eye in the house. Everybody's like, God bless Wasteland. I love the Forlorn Hope Saloon. This is my favorite bar. Yeah. It was good. It was a happy moment. Everybody was happy. The girls were happy. We were happy.
So was this?
Man, I don't know, Captain. We're gonna have to up our game, I think.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Come again.
Yes. Now, okay.
Yeah, that's what the upstairs is for.
Nice. You make it almost sound like this was a bit of performance art, lady.
It was. I mean, look, what's not to? I mean, so much beauty and artistry in two women enjoying the curves and softness of each other's bodies in a way that they wanted to share with all of us. I mean, they were happy. We were happy. Everybody was happy. It was impromptu performance art. Yes, that's what we'll call it. Yes.
Beautiful. Now, I've probably passed by the Forlorn Hope more than any spot in Wasteland because it's, again, we're neighbors, and
we're neighbors.
You're on my commute to the command center.
We share Porto Alley.
That is true. But I gotta say, every time I look in the door or through at the window, there's something new happening in there. Sometimes it is shoulder to shoulder crowded. I've seen shadow puppetry, very very saucy.
Uncle Foster's Saucy Shadow Play Theater.
And then what I think are some of the most magical times is when there's a DJ playing and there is only like a couple people in there, but they are getting down like it's their own private club. It's magical.
One of my other favorite moments, and one of the rare times that Cowboy and I actually got to get out and go walk about and explore the other wilds of the wasteland, and we come back and we're walking through the main gates and we hear this chanting, chairs, 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 and it's coming from our bar, and we're like, what is these chairs you speak of? And we walk in, and the whole dance floor has gathered all of the chairs from the card tables and assembled them on the dance floor in a big circle, and they're drunkenly standing on the chairs and dance hopping from chair to chair. Go, chairs, 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 chairs. And the DJ's going, chairs, chairs? I guess chairs. And so, yeah, we were like, do we be responsible, tell them to get down because they're going to hurt themselves or break something, or do we give them more chairs? We gave them more chairs. Yeah. There was,
Of course.
all the chairs.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, when people are chanting something, you must deliver.
Yeah, you have to deliver. It's true. So, yeah, we've had war talks in there. We've had peace talks in there. We've had attempted assassinations, kidnappings after the wedding. So, you gotta be prepared for a little this and a little that. Just open to anything at Wasteland.
I love it. All right, so I'm going to swing this back around because, Captain, I know you've got another story, and you were hosting an anniversary dinner when you got interrupted red wedding style. Can you tell us about how that all went down?
Oh man, that was. Oh my god. So this one started though like 3 months beforehand because Boss Cap. Now it's no longer Boss Cap. It's
he's a good friend of ours.
Retired Cap.
No.
Or what's his new handle?
Shoot, I don't know.
No, his new handle.
He changed his name because he's no longer in charge of the casino. Right. But at the time, though, he was top dog and known as Boss Cap. Him and his lovely wife, Amazon, he had reached out to us to have a anniversary dinner on our upstairs patio. And so we're like, well, yeah, of course, I mean, we'd only been going for 2 years at the time, so we're like, oh, wow, we're so honored. Oh, boy. So naturally, I go overboard and I recruit and hire Judas and Hippo of the CCB. So they are the what we call wasteland chefs, I guess. The kind of renowned wasteland chefs. They do like a whole pig roast and the whole thing. So I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, Boss Cap and Amazon want to have their anniversary dinner in our upstairs parlor. And so they're like, oh no, that sounds fantastic. Well, what do you want to serve? So I asked Boss, I'm like, hey, well, what were you thinking about having, for your anniversary dinner? He's like, ceviche, and I think it was like weenie beanies or something. It was horrendous. It was like, Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
No. So anyway, I'm like, Judas, how far can we go this in the desert? And he's like, well, we can go all the way. And I'm like, all right, well, let's go all the way. I'll fund it because this is those once in a lifetime things where it's like the story will be told. So there were 2 wait staff. I believe one was the bartender for the casino. Sadly, I've forgotten his name, and another young lady. And they sabered champagne. I believe there was a salad with caviar, followed by frogwa, with I think it was top sirloin steak, and it kept on going, truffles, and it went full tilt. There was about 6 to 7 courses served at this thing. However, so we're downstairs because this is all of them running around, cooking in the back, running through the ghoul crest, going up the stairs, serving them, taking the plates. The whole thing was very nice. Under candlelight dinner. We closed the club down because usually we open it about 7 at night and go till about 5 in the morning. And so we closed the club down, and this was like 9 o'clock, I believe. So usually about the time where we're starting to really pick up the momentum. So people are coming by, and like the whole front end is darked out, and just the upstairs is lit up where they're having their dinner. So people are like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, we're having an anniversary dinner. Come back here probably about midnight, and we'll be up and rolling." So they dip out, and with that, I'm standing on the side of the club, kind of like trying to watch, but not like be obvious, because I'm like, "This is amazing." I see them savor the champagne. I'm like, "That was awesome." So I'm watching, and my glance just turns down the street, and here comes Legio in full force.
Oh no.
All decked out, their banners, the whole shoot match in formation, coming down the street and right into the patio area. I don't do confrontation. So instantly, I turn to Major Impact, and I'm like, deal with that. He's like, I got this. So he runs, he jumps the picket fence, goes into the patio area, and like, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys wanting to have fun, but take your fun side. And they're like,
get out.
All of a sudden, like all arrogance, exactly. All arrogance gone. We're here to invade the Ghoul Crest. He's like, I got no calls. You guys gave no forward warning. And so they're milling about in the street in front of it. And I mean, milk carton kids were across the street heckling. I don't know. Oh, the knife throwers. Liam their name escapes me like that. They were at the other corner. They're heckling from over there. Legion turns. They go down the street next to us, farther out into Wasteland City, into the camping areas, and they realize they're going off into the middle of nowhere. So they stop, about face, turn back around, go back down the city, and at the same time, I get a call from upstairs. They're like, Captain, is everything all right? Being handled. And they eventually just dispersed out like that. But I believe that was one of the nights that Mongo of the Dukes of the Nuke was also going to try and come in and get his tie, and has since harassed me for the next 3 years. But yeah, that one went down in history.
That's amazing. Mongo did make it in 2019. He came in on my VIP card and was very excited about that. Yeah.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Good.
Did you mention that Legio is they're like a Fallout tribe that's Kaisar's Legion? These guys, they do the walk, like a very militant walk. I think they even do like a fun run every morning at 8 a.m. or something like that.
8 a.m. Yes. It's like 5 a.m. The reverie run, the naked reverie run, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, naked and the spears twisting in the wind. And
about the time they run by, we're like, okay, we should start closing down.
Yeah, that's truly what they're doing. Is they're going and telling the city to go to bed.
Yeah. They have to dodge a lot of tomatoes and wasteland diapers as they're running. Like, go away! I'm trying to pass out.
Oh my goodness. It took me several years to realize that when I went to bed, the people that stayed up after me were not the people who woke up before me the next day. Like, I'd always hear like the party continuing as I was going to sleep. And then when I woke up, like people were already like doing stuff. And I didn't realize that was two different groups of people and that I wasn't just sleeping too much.
No.
See, I have to beg to differ with you on that one, Makeshift.
What's that?
You had asked me this once before in a previous interview. It's like, how does an old fart like me hang with the young people? And so my solution is I'm the last one to go to bed and the first one to get up. And I do that for 5 days, and then I spend the next week crashing and recovering.
It's true.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the way you remember that question. Here's the thing. I have this interview in my archives, and I'm gonna put up my real question right now.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So, how old are you, and what's it like coming out here to the desert with a bunch of young bucks and surviving and playing games?
The young bucks try to keep up.
So, as I said, I started doing this 4 years ago with my partner, and she's now 27, so she was 23 when we started this, and I'm 55. And the real truth of the matter is I do my damn best to make sure that I'm the first one up and the last one down. And it's fun. It's really a great group of people, and that's one of the things I really love about Wasteland is people notice, but they don't care. And you see people out here that are a lot older than I am. You see people that are 18. And it's absolutely just fantastic. So you learn limitations, but one of the things that I learned a while ago, people say, how in the hell can you survive in the desert wearing this? Put it on when it's cool in the day, in the morning, and then you just get used to it. So yeah, I survive. You were a bit more respectful, but the intent was certainly there.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that because sometimes when I'm making my videos, I'm trying to let people know that everybody can have a good time. It's a desert event. Obviously, a lot of the advertising shows young people, and so a lot of people don't realize that everybody's welcome. So
It's true.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people. I'm by no means am I the oldest one there. There are a lot of people of quite a big range.
No, even fossils like us can have fun at Wasteland.
I remember we had an old timer come in one time, British, and so he loved the whole theme of the Ghoul Crest, like British themed hunting club. Like he had flown over from England to go to Wasteland.
So great.
And so he came in, told us all this stuff, just loved the place, loved it.
Yeah.
He went back that was in 2017. He passed away in the meantime.
Aww.
So his family came in 2019 to visit the Ghoul Crest at Wasteland
so
because
great.
he talked about it so much. So we were open for like a couple hours before we usually open to let his wife and his children come in and enjoy the Ghoul Crest for what it is.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Cool
well, that reminds me, Makeshift. You remember when Lance Moore died?
Yeah.
So remember they had his mom out the following year to Wasteland.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, and his mom got to have all of her son Screwless's Wasteland adventures and really get a sense of why this group of people had become so important to her child before he died. And I mean, I just thought that was, as a mom, that gets me every time. And
Lance was a member of the Mutant Hunters. Mm-hmm. They've had a few losses over the years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Such a great kid.
Yeah.
He was one of those people that showed up that made you feel like they had always been there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He was made for Wasteland, and Wasteland was made for him.
Yeah. But Wastelanders are so great about
they are
being super inclusive when there's a loss. There's just this incredible amount of support and welcomeness for family members that want to come, and I love that about our community. You guys are awesome.
And they really do take care of other people. That reminds me of a story of an event that did actually happen at Wasteland in our bar. I remember that one night, Sheriff Ranger, who is the sheriff of Wasteland and is one of the Rust Devils, the bounty hunters, had come by bringing some whiskey to share with us that he was very excited about sharing. So this was late, probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of Wasteland City had already shut down. He comes over. We're sharing the whiskey. We're giving him some of the emotion drinks that we have and just having a good time. And this young kid walks up to us. Maybe he was 21, maybe he was 18, 19, drunk out of his mind, could barely stand up straight. So he comes in, asks me to give him drinks, and it's like, well, first of all, I don't know you, so I'm not going to give you drinks. Secondly, you've obviously had way too much, so I'm not going to give you any drinks. So talking to him a little bit, trying to figure out what's going on. Sheriff takes him aside, talks to him, finds out who he is, where he's coming from and such, takes him back to his camp and gets him all settled down so this poor kid doesn't end up face down in the ground in vomit and other things. And it's just, he didn't even think twice about it. He just went and did that because that was the right thing to do. Did that, took the kid back to the camp, got him all settled, came back to Schofield's camp. We had a few more drinks and then we called it a night. But that's just an example of what the people of Wasteland are like. And that's one of the things that really makes all these things so enjoyable and so important. Having the bars and drinking and having a good time, that's a really big part of it. But having that sense of knowing that there are people who will take care of you and look out for you, that's what really makes it special.
Even if they don't know you. Even if they
don't know you. Exactly.
Shout out to Lee of the Dustwalkers, though. That's our resident who takes them back to their camp. So there's lots of cool people out there that'll keep an eye on you if you go. So you can be relaxed there, Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's one of the services that the Dukes have been doing since, 2013 or something like that. Because back then we were the only ones with lights. And so everyone came to our tribe like flies after everything else shut down. And sometimes they would either be very drunk or fall asleep next to our fire. And so we started doing basically a human delivery service, get you back to your camp where you'll be safe for the night.
What do you remember about your campsite?
Exactly.
Are there any rock formations? What do they look like?
We always had an ice chest out front, though. Always had waters on hand for anybody walking by.
One of the things that came about with the Drifters is we like to go out and party. We like to go to the Gold Crest and the Last Chance and other places. So what we tend to do is we tend to close our bar down between about 7 and 10 or 11, so we can go out and party. And then we keep the bar open from about midnight till 4. And all the security people who are coming off shift in the morning, they hit our place before they turn in for the night, or in their case, the morning. So we've really kind of narrowed in on that aspect of taking care of our friends that are awake very late into the morning.
Have you guys all been able to do the Wasteland bar crawl?
No, we're always working. Always working.
Those new hosts don't get to do. What are you talking about?
Like what? What is this fun you speak of?
But we hear of all sides of it.
All right. So as somebody who is constantly doing the Wasteland bar crawl, I got to say that it's the people like you that are making the experience of Wasteland just so dynamic and so adventurous. You guys are literally creating those places in a video game where you get to walk in and say, what kind of quirk is happening in here? What is the story? And what am I supposed to do here? Yeah. And I just think that that's so cool. You guys are really just adding so much to the atmosphere. It's incredible what you do.
I appreciate that, man.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, now I feel really guilty because we're kind of in captain's boat here this year at Dauntless. We're not sure if all the tribe is going to be there this year, and Frank, we've got two flatbeds that we bring, 20 to 30,000 pounds worth of steel and build and decorations and. We're just kind of at. We're just kind of, the pandemic is we all missed last year. Wasteland was canceled, and this year we're just like, look, it's whoever shows up. We'll have the event board there. The saloon may not make it, but we're going to make the best of it, and really we're just going to be happy to be together again, all of us, right? As our giant Wasteland misfit family. I mean, just, and that's the vibe I'm getting from Adam and Jared is, look, it doesn't have to be the greatest, the most perfect, the most epic Wasteland ever. We just want to get everybody together again and say, we survived it, right? And we still love you guys and we're here. And so if that means that, it's not the biggest and the greatest this year, and we all get to play more and work less.
It's the reunion.
Right, it's a reunification. So that's exactly. That's our theme this year.
Yeah, and I think you guys are on the right track where you can be open for a few days, but make sure you take a day, let your camp go dark, and just go out and explore.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as it's not Saturday night.
No. Yeah. Well, and see, you guys are so out in, what do they don't call it, Tent City anymore?
Yeah,
What
baby. What
do the cool kids call it?
Yeah.
Is it still
Tent City? Still Tent City.
I don't know.
City.
But see, you don't have any rules out in Tent City.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Jared's
in Wasteland City.
Adam's inside the club every night. What do you mean I don't have rules?
Yes, but then security comes in at 2:03 in Wasteland City and starts saying,
yeah.
But the
and then
den
they go to the
goes
Ghoul
until
Crest
dawn
and party.
See?
That's what they're really doing. Security's coming to Dauntless to say, you guys need to close and get over to
and go over to the Ghoul Crest.
We don't have music.
Yeah. No, we have DJ. We do have DJs.
We're not
all
loud.
night. Yeah.
Like we have neighbors next door who sleep. We're not allowed joint. So that's kind of how
we are allowed. We are allowed.
That's the same with us. We don't have music for the exact same reason.
We're not allowed to. I mean, Tent City is not allowed to have music,
and we can stay open later.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, so it's just quiet hours.
Exactly.
So the more you know.
Well, I mean, we're a social lounge.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of being in the Ghoul Crest is to talk to other people and tell stories. You can't do that with a full DJ.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it works to our benefit.
It is a great space.
Yeah. And I think we can probably push back those quiet hours by creating a bar owners association.
Right? Can we swap nights? Like, you stay open till 2 tonight. I'll stay open till 2 on Saturday.
Yeah. There you go.
Or wait a minute, 6.
I'm not handling your capacity.
6.
You out of your mind?
It's fine. It's fine. And sharing is caring.
What's that thing burning out there in
sharing
Tent City?
is caring. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be fine. They make an ointment for that.
Yeah, it blows in every afternoon.
It's true. That's true.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight to tell us stories from your bars.
It was a great pleasure.
We miss you guys. This is a little slice of home, and we are absolutely counting the days until we can all be together to give each other hell and a hearty wasteland salute again. So
yes,
thank you.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I know you have a lot of building to do in the off season.
Yes, so much.
So get to it, because we had a big festival coming up this year. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I'll tell you this. Everyone that is going to be there is going to be off the wall.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yep.
Ride or die. Ride or die.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in person and give you a salute from 6 feet away.
Yeah, we love you, Makeshift. Mwah.
A hearty huzzah to you.
All right. Thanks a lot for the invite and the conversation.
Absolutely. All right, survivors, this has been another episode of Wastelander Stories, this one called So This Wastelander Walks Into a Bar. I'm your host, Makeshift. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, and if you hated it, send it to your enemies in a shot topped with 151, lit on fire, and then promptly tossed against a wall.
Not our wall.
These just keep getting worse every time I tell anyone. All right, survivors.
Cheers.
See you next time. Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
Days and